Hey guys, I'm Tiffany and you found me on the Wise Skies channel. I'm here to do Tarot Friday for Friday, November 4th. And so we're on the heels, right, of the Taurus eclipse. And so it's in 16 degrees of Taurus. The eclipse period has spanned from October 24th, 25th, depending on your time zone, through this November 8th, which is also part of the astrological weather of the United States Pluto return. So as the United States is facing their election times, and you can see like the eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is traditionally represented by the more conservative party, right? And so you can see very close to Uranus in the sky, you can see a lot of things coming unearthed. Taurus is about our food, our finances, national security, right? And you can see a lot of things going on in the media around this. So everybody, I just want you to take a deep breath in and ground down and let times change, let times change. So if you're in our inner circle group on Facebook, we have a metaphysical learning group, and I posted a picture of this beautiful space, and I asked you to do some psychic work and to do some psychic development practice and to use all of your senses. And so if you want to play with this space a little bit, you can pause the video and breathe into it because I'm about to tell you where we are. And so when you're doing psychic development, you set your intention. You do your grounding work, you do kind of a protective bubble, a clear bubble around you, and then you sink into your breath, you follow your meditative breath, and you use all of your senses, right? So what do you see? What do you feel? What do you know? What do you smell? What sounds might come to mind? Like what movie is playing for you when you look at this beautiful background? And if you want to use your location exercises, right? Some of our location exercises are to draw a globe and be drawn to one area of the earth, and then to grid it out and be drawn to the, one of the quadrants, and then be drawn further and just sink in, really slow down, breathe into it, and take your time. And then so that you know where we are, the answer is we are in a 1920s firehouse. And so this is where the firemen used to actually live, right? And so this is an Airbnb in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it is absolutely stunning. I would love to take you on a tour, but we're not tidied up yet. So enjoy this beautiful brick and know that this is the setting of a firehouse. We slept great here. No spirit activity, a feeling of protection and safety. There's even a cool fireplace that's coming on and off to regulate the temperature. So absolutely stunning and great sleep. So if you got the year 1920 or the area of the Southeast, you might have picked up on some cues or clues there. Okay, so I'm going to borrow our friend Shelley's deck, and this is Tarot by Caro, it looks like. And then we've got also this Luna Lapine. Sorry, my French is poor, but this is a bunny rabbit deck, and it's really cute. So we're going to go through the signs, Aries all the way through Pisces. So everybody will get a reading. You can listen for your sun, moon, or rising sign, your boyfriend's sign, your kid's sign, whatever you want to listen for. And just really setting the intention to connect with spirit to deliver messages of hope and clarity for your weekend ahead. So this is your eclipse reading, guys. So just looking in, connecting with spirit, softening the inner vision, softening the ear of our heart so that we can connect and listen in. And starting first with Aries. So let's do our eclipse reading for Aries. And if you want more information about the eclipse, of course, go to wiseskiescollective.com. Okay, so just clearing the deck for Aries. Okay, we first get a Knight of Wands. Isn't that a beautiful image for the Knight of Wands? And so this is a very Aries card. Like this is a weekend maybe that you want to be in action, or you feel activated, or you feel called to do something, and so this might be a weekend for you to really just go forward and do something. Don't just sit there, do something, right? It's paired here with the King of Wands. And so there's a certain responsibility with the King of Wands, right? And so I would say this is a weekend to be active, to get out of the house, to do something physical safely, have fun, and experience your physical being, right? Your full vitality, your health and wellness. This can be when you have like a fire in the belly to do something, to be an activist of some kind, right? So clear message for our Aries friends. And then let's follow it up with a card of clarity here, an Ace of Wands. So it's all fire energy for our Aries. This is about doing something different, doing it differently than you've done it before, going right out of the driveway instead of left, and making new decisions to put yourself physically in a different place, right? Okay. So let's clear now for our Taurus. Let's see what our Taurus need to hear for their eclipse reading. I'm just asking Spirit to come through with a message of strength and experience for our Taurus friends watching. Okay. We get a Knight of Cups and an Eight of Swords. Okay, so typically this is, we describe this card as being a prisoner of your own making. You can see where you feel kind of bound up and you may be feeling bound up emotionally. This is a reminder that you're actually not bound up and that if you're having a problem, you're also the solution, right? This person thinks that they've got a problem, but really they're able to free their hands and walk out of their issue. And so if you've been feeling kind of in an emotional roller coaster, know that this eclipse is in your sign, right? Know that Uranus has been in your sign and there's a certain coming undone and a coming unearthed feeling. And so can you use this time to let yourself kind of fall apart a little bit so that you can rebuild on a more firm foundation? A second message for you, Taurus folk. Let's see here. A Nine of Cups. So this is a reminder that you get your wish. And if you have let your thoughts drift to maybe more of a negative space, that maybe you have created some of that in your world. And so this is a reminder to be on a thought diet, to be very careful with the way that you think about yourself and others and your surroundings, right? This could be a challenge for you to look out and start a new gratitude list and just wow, it's a beautiful day, and just start to kind of fake it until you make it into a better place mentally, right? This is that you have a lot of options for what thought you choose, but this is one where you're creating, this is a creative card where as you think, so shall you be. And so we want to make sure that your thoughts are in a healthy place, right? So making some changes with that. Okay, let's clear for our Gemini friends. Just see what's in store for our Geminis. Some practical advice or guidance to help them with their eclipse energy here. Clearing for Gemini. Okay, let's see, we get Four of Pentacles and a Tower card. I would imagine a lot of people are feeling this Tower card energy with the eclipse. But for you, Gemini, it looks like something is being disrupted financially for you, and it's probably for your own good. And so if you've had some kind of cost or financial decision that didn't go through, like let's say you put down a bid on a house and it fell through, just let it fall through. Let's say that you applied for a loan and it didn't work out, just let it not work out. Let's say that you went for a new job and you thought you were going to get it and you didn't, just let it fall apart, basically. It feels like you're being protected from something financially that you were going to do that maybe is not so great, So taking a second look at some large financial things for you, Gemini. And then a secondary message for you from this sweet little deck here. The Queen of Pentacles. So definitely a financial message for our Geminis to be of integrity and responsible in being responsible with being a good steward of your finances. And so I know that some of you have listened to the November forecast at this point and that you'll have heard me say, take a risk on yourself, but maybe not quite yet, Gemini, because there's some cards here indicating that, to slow down with your big financial decisions and really get clear, and wait to respond, right? Like this is a card of feeling really taken care of and feeling provided for. And so maybe some of you guys are feeling like, well, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. And so maybe this is a moment where you let the universe provide for you instead of forcing something to happen. Okay, let's clear for our Cancers. What is it that our Cancers need to hear? I've got something in my eye. Why now? Okay, let's clear for our Cancers and see what it is they need to hear for the weekend ahead. Some practical advice or guidance for their eclipse reading. Just clearing for our Cancers. Okay. We've got The Ace of Swords. Okay, so the aces typically, when we're doing these readings, stick with us for about a year. And so this is something that you're thinking about differently for about a year. And we've got the Eight of Cups here. And so this is what you're thinking about is what you're walking away from, right? And I'm not saying for a year, walk away from something. I'm just saying, consider your magical new life, right? This is, you're walking away from something, but you're walking towards something much, much better. And so this is a perspective shift from what am I missing out on and into what new life am I leading and creating, right? So this Ace of Swords is a perspective shift that's happening slowly over time, about a year. And you're focusing not on what you're not doing, but where you're walking towards, right? So big, huge perspective shift. That can be hard when life didn't go the way that we wanted it to, or the way that we thought it was going to go. That perspective shift does take time, right? So give yourself the time it takes now so that it takes less time later. Horse whispering tip for all of my equestrian friends, right? Take the time it takes now so it takes less time later. Okay, let's see here. And a secondary message for our Cancers. We get the King of Swords. Okay, so definitely from an ace to a king here, you're mastering something at the thought level, something at the intuitive level. You're emotionally intelligent about the situation, but you can't force healing. You can't hurry your healing. You can't hurry up the grief process. You can't hurry up something that's coming your way. You just need to kind of sink into the universal timing of something and be okay with it. Be at peace with it. Get your mind at peace with it. Let all be well with your soul, right? Over time, you can't force it. Okay, and then let's clear for our Leos. What is it that our Leos need to hear? Just connecting in with spirit, taking a deep breath in, relaxing the inner ear if you're listening for Leos. Okay, let's see, we've got a Knight of Swords here and an Ace of Swords. So this is making sense, right? We've got this eclipse energy going on, and more is revealed under this eclipse time. Like there's more shown to us, things that are coming on Earth, and we will have a change of perspective. And so it could be that you're changing your mind from one way of thinking or one way of living to another. Maybe you're more open-minded than you realized, but this is definitely a symbol to stay open-minded, to keep your heart open, you know, to keep looking for new solutions, and to maybe hear the other side out, right? And to come from a place of understanding. And so a secondary message for our Leos from our little bunny rabbit deck. Okay, let's see, Leos, we've got the Emperor. All right, so some of you guys that this is a card about bosses, about work, about changing careers, about feeling fulfilled in your life purpose, right? The Emperor is who we give our time to. And we were just listening to Mavis Patilla's celebration of life, and I heard her friend Paul talk about her words of give to Caesar what Caesar and God to what God's, right? And this card makes me think of that too. It's like the Emperor is about what are you toiling away at? You know, are you giving yourself to a 9-to-5 that's never going to give back? Are you open to hearing something from your boss? Are you open to hearing some some constructive criticism? Or do you know everything? Are you coming in like a know-it-all? Are you the boss that is having a bad rulership that nobody can hear because of how you're speaking? This is like a real call for understanding and hearing somebody at a soul level and not at a physical level, right? And it can also be a call for you to start your own business, to take charge of your own life when possible, right? Okay, let's clear for our Virgos and see what our Virgos have to hear for the weekend ahead. Just some practical advice or guidance from this beautiful deck. Clearing for our Virgos. Do a quick shuffle here and see what do they need to hear for their eclipse reading. Just clearing for our Virgos. Okay. All right, Eight of Swords and Queen of Cups. So this is very similar to the Taurus reading, right? Where we tend to bind ourselves up and forget that we are also our solution. So if I have a problem at all, it's only in here. It's not out there. And so as long as I'm looking for solution outside of myself, I'm going to be lost and bound up and confused and upset, you know, because the outside world isn't ever going to change. So this is a card of acceptance with what is. And it's a card of emotional mastery. It's also a card of creative mastery, right? And so let's get a second message here for our Virgos. Let's clear and just ask what it is they need to hear under this eclipse energy and put it all together. All right, the Seven of Wands. So this can be an empowering card where it's like, I'm the leader of my life. It can feel like nobody's got your back sometimes. It can feel like you're in a position of power and that you're able to influence greatly, right? And so who is it that you're influencing? Really, I'm going to just say yourself, like you're becoming a caretaker and curator of your own life, right? And it looks a lot different post-eclipse season, right? Especially financially with this eclipse in Taurus. The Seven of Wands, you can see this in this card, the bunny is like, he's looking really brave. And so this can be a time when you're putting on a brave face, but you might have a lot of emotions going on behind that brave face. And so I would say, Virgo, definitely take time to sit with some of your grief work and to sit with some of your, the more challenging things that come up as triggers. You don't have to put on a brave face for it, right? But you do need to take charge of your own emotional well-being. And so this can be a time when you're like, I am done grieving that and I am ready to move forward. And I'm not going to stay bound up like this Eight of Swords anymore. I'm just going to choose a happier existence or a more peaceful or a more neutral existence, right? Seven of Wands, you've got to do something. You can't just sit there. You've got to take action. Okay, let's clear for our, like it won't change, basically. It won't change if you don't change, right? All right, let's clear for our Libras, just clear for our Libras. What is it that our Libras need to hear for their eclipse reading? Our sweet Libra friends, Ten of Swords. Okay, so the worst is over. Nine of Wands. All right, so Libra's having maybe some anxiety going on or some like feeling, what I'm getting psychically, I guess, from these cards is a sense of kind of doom or fear or concern that you're picking up on from the broader public, so I want you to try to discern, are they the negative thoughts I'm feeling and experiencing, are they mine, or is my mind receiving something from the greater consciousness, right? And how do I start to discern that and make sure that I'm okay, that I'm safe, that there's nothing wrong here, right? And how do I start to direct the flow of energy of my mind? Because this looks like a very active mind. And how do we get back to neutral? Let's get a secondary message for our Libras here. Knight of Swords. Okay, so a lot of mental things going on, and a Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so we're getting these over and over and over again. So I know that this is universal, but specifically to Libras, what can you let go of? Can you let yourself, sorry for my notification, can you let yourself off the hook? Can you let somebody else off the hook? Can you just drop it? Can you just drop the thought and do something else, basically? Okay, let's clear for our Scorpios, making our way through the zodiac here and see what it is they need to hear for their eclipse reading. For our Scorpios, the last eclipse was in your sign at the end of October, right? And so now it's going to be in the polar opposite sign on the Taurus axis in 16 degrees of Taurus. So if you have anything in 16 degrees of Taurus or Scorpio or any of the fixed signs, you're probably going to be feeling this a little bit more intensely than maybe you want to. So clearing for our Scorpio reading, we've got a Three of Wands, good, and a Queen of Wands. Okay, so just like the Aries, this is a time to be in action about something. And as we were talking about with the November numerology, this is a good time to roll the dice and take a chance on yourself, to ask for what you want, to be specific, right? To be very creative. This Three of Wands is a very creative card. 1 + 1 = 3. And then with the Queen of Wands, this is to be ready for anything. This is a reminder that you've been practicing your spiritual principles and that now you're ready for anything. You can take anything on. And so I would say continue your spiritual practices, whatever that is. Maybe it's going for a walk and listening to an inspirational audiobook. Maybe it's some yoga meditation, but keep yourself strong so that you can be prepared to face anything, is how I would interpret this. And then a secondary message for our Scorpios. As we've got Three of Wands again. So it's a 2 3 of Wands for our Scorpios. It's definitely time to get creative, think outside of the box, and just to get out of fixing things and allow for a greater solution to come through you. To something is trying to channel its way through you. So what is that, right? For me, it's probably finishing work on our Wise Skies workbook, right? Okay. So let's clear for our Sagittarius. Let's see what we have to say for our Sagittarius for our eclipse reading for the Sages out there. Okay, special message for you. Here's 5 of Cups and the 9 of Wands. And so I know that there's some grief work going on here. And I also know that there's a lot of chewing on something in your mind over and over and over, kind of getting into that obsessive thinking about something. And so the solution for that, right? Let's look for a solution here. An 8 of Pentacles. This is about practicing and chopping wood and carrying water and keeping up with your spiritual disciplines too, right? How do you stay? It's not like you want to avoid grief, but how can you work through it and then get back to a neutral place, maybe quicker than before? This is about taking on the student's mind and maybe taking on a new teacher too, but being very humble and being willing to face the world with a fresh set of eyes, right? To be to allow yourself to be humbled and to surrender to spirit is a very fragile and vulnerable place to be, but it's also a place of great strength and stability. And so letting yourself fall apart and then be built back up by spirit. Okay, let's see what our Capricorns need to hear for the weekend ahead. Just clearing the space and energy for our Capricorns. Just visualizing the Capricorn sign in your head and see what it is our powerful sea goats need to hear. Clearing for Capricorn. Okay. Knight of Swords again, guys, and a Knight of Wands. Okay, so this can be a little bit like impulsive. This can be a little bit like, don't just sit there, do something. This can feel like a sense of urgency to get into action, to be on a quest. And this can be when you're coming in a little bit hot, right? So being aware, is your energy feeling a little bit jerky or impulsive? And is that okay sometimes? Is it okay to just go for it, to jump all the way in, right? The 8 numerology is to be all in. This sense of being halfway in and halfway out is not going to feel good. It's going to feel wishy-washy. It's going to feel unclear. This is about being on a quest, and a quest for what? Truth, really, right? These are together paired in your favor to get real with yourself, right? I invite you to get real with yourself about something that you've been 1 foot in, 1 foot out, so that you can go forward with your full vitality, energy, and sense of self. Okay, Capricorn. And then let's get a secondary message for you guys. Just clearing for Capricorns. Okay. Ace of Wands. So still doing something different than the way that you've done it before, and taking on a new project, taking on a new hobby, taking on a new something that you're very passionate about, right? The Ace of Wands is this something that is inside of you that you can't shut off. It's something that is you're really energized by. And so pay attention to what you're feeling motivated by and energized by. Pay attention to what's pulling you forward into your motivation, right? So motivation is, you can find that in your human design. So if you're new to human design, check out that page at wiseskiescollective.com and learn more about your motivation. Mine is hope. And in this Airbnb, we found a Hopedale. Isn't that cute? So it'll start to show up for you, right? So what's pulling you forward into your motivation, your unique motivation? There are several motivations, right? There's guilt, there's fear, there's innocence, there's desire, there's needs, right? There's many different styles. And so it's kind of fun to see what's yours, right? Okay, let's clear the deck for our Aquarius, just clearing for Aquarius and seeing what it is that our Aquarius need to hear for the weekend ahead and their eclipse reading. Okay, some practical advice or guidance for our Aquarius friends. We've got the Empress, beautiful, and the Magician. Okay, so it's good to be an Aquarius during this eclipse. Aquarius is a fixed sign. So if your sun happens to be around 16 degrees of Aquarius, you're going to be feeling this eclipse very intensely too, very acutely, I would say. The Magician and the Empress, these are both very creative cards, right? The Magician usually reminds us, as we think, so shall we be. And so some of us, depending on our human design, create with very specific, like we need to be very specific. And some of us create very broadly and very vaguely. I just want to feel content, right? Versus I want it to look like this and this and this and this. And so the world will tell us different ways to manifest or to create, right? But it's actually very unique to you, your innate astrology, your innate soul calling, your innate human design, right? And so this, to me, Aquarius, is a call to get back into radical alignment with yourself. And so that you're part of the creation story, you're part of a creation process that's unique to you, that hasn't, maybe you're living a story that hasn't maybe been told by anybody else. So there's not a model. And this is a reminder that you can break the mold, that you're born under a different star set, that you were born into this lifetime for a specific reason for you that might not be modeled for you. And so you can kind of play pretend for a little bit under this eclipse, and it might catapult you into a new way of understanding and loving and radically being in alignment with yourself. Okay, so let's clear just for a secondary reading. You guys get a 7 of Cups. This is a reminder there's a lot of options out there, and it's good to be you, and you can put on different hats at different times. There's a part of you that might want to be the actress, or part of you that might want to be the director, or part of you that might want to be the healer, or part of you that might want to be the dancer. You know what I mean? Like you can do a lot of different things. You don't have to corner yourself in. So Aquarius, a big message would be to open to the many different facets and of yourself, right? All right, let's clear the deck for Pisces and just see what their eclipse reading is for our Pisces friends. Little insider guidance for any of our Pisces watching, just closing your eyes, breathing in and visualizing the Pisces sign. What is it that our Pisces constellation folks would benefit from hearing? Okay, 8 of Wands, it's happening fast, King of Swords. And so this could be where you really do lean into that numerology of being all in and things happening quick. So I would say, Pisces, don't be afraid of things happening fast. In fact, lean into it, lean into the swiftness. Jump into the river that's flowing, not the stagnant one, right? Jump into the river that has movement, not the one that is solid and just, like the gunk is piling up. Get into the stream of life. And so you know where there's energy moving in your life and where there's not. And this is a reminder to be in the stream that has energy, that has, I can't think of another way to say it. So get into the river that's flowing, right? You want to fish where the fish are swimming, not where there's no fish. Okay, and then Pisces, a secondary reading for you guys. Just clearing for our Pisces friends for a secondary reading. Page of Swords. Yeah, I would say just try to imagine a stream that's flowing. If you have no energy or no streams that are flowing in your life, what would it look like if there was? And try to imagine it and use the mind to help create this beautiful flow of energy in your life. What would it feel like? Can you think back to a time when energy was flowing, and how did it feel like to just be in flow and to be in synchronicity and to be walking down the street and to see the sign, to be walking down the street and see your birthday in a license plate, or to be in an Airbnb and see your motivation on a coffee cup, right? So just if you don't have any examples of flow in your life, I want you to think back to a time or to imagine what it would feel like to be in flow and synchronicity. And to not be afraid for things to move quickly, right? 8 of Wands. Okay, last but not least, here's our universal reading. So take what you want and leave the rest, right? This is fun entertainment, connecting in with spirit for Tarot Friday. And we're just going to do a universal reading for everyone in case none of the messages hit or in case all of them hit. This is just a little extra love from above. So let's just connect in. Okay. Okay, we get the 6 of Wands, and then let's get our secondary one and we'll interpret them together. Okay. Secondary message, the Sun. Okay, guys, these are the 2 cards that mean it's going to be okay. These are the cards of a victory, a win, a yes. There are only a few cards that mean yes in Tarot, and these are definitely 2 of them. And so under this eclipse energy, do not be afraid. This is a time when we can go forward, when we can have clarity and honesty and integrity. This is a time of excitement and hope and vitality. This is a call to get back into your health routines. This is a call to take action and to go forward as though you are victorious. So even if you're feeling like my world's upside down and I got the Tower card and this eclipse isn't going so hot for me, just start to get in the mindset that it is, that you have support of the Six of Wands, that you have the support of the sun, of that great God force energy, the spiritual energy that we are all a spark of, right? The greater consciousness is behind you and with you. And so act like it, right? So we all need to act like it under this eclipse, right? That all will be well with our souls. So guys, thanks for tuning into a special Firehouse Chattanooga, Tennessee edition of Tarot Friday. It's my honor to work for you on behalf of Spirit, and I appreciate you guys. I want to make sure that you know that we've got the huge, massive sale coming on 11/11. We're doing our gratitude sale early this year, and we have up to 75% off of some of our readings and specials on other products. So make sure you're on our newsletter list, and I just bless all of you guys and hope that you have a beautiful eclipse experience, that it can be gentle to your nervous systems, and that it can even be enlightening for us. So check us out at wiseskiescollective.com. We offer one-on-one sessions. We have a great membership, and we would love to have you in our wings and in our family. Until next time, guys, namaste.